Hey guys, I wanted to try this Dr. Jack Kruse style, and if you have not watched videos by Dr. Jack Kruse, you need to. C-R-U-Z, I believe. But all of his videos are outside in El Salvador at his compound where he gets people well naturally. He was a neurosurgeon, and he knows all about MK Ultra. He knows all about how we've been lied to, and tells everybody how they need to be out in the sunlight without sunscreen, or without sunscreen that has been bought at the store. You can get all natural sunscreen made with zinc oxide that's natural, that will not promote skin cancer. But don't spray that bought stuff, Coppertone and all the other. Don't buy that sunscreen and put it on your body. But getting back to what we are going to be talking about, what is this channel? What is Divine Feminine Frequencies? What the heck? It's been a while since I've been on here, so I want to go back and tell everybody what the Divine Feminine Frequency is. This is the memories, the remembrance, the remembering of the fact that you love yourself, that you came here incarnated into this reality by choice. You picked your family, you picked your circumstance, you picked every struggle that you have gone through to make your character who it is, right? You agreed to go to sleep, to incarnate into all of this, to hope to open up and not be an NPC, a non-playable character, just somebody that is a consumer below a 250 Hawkins emotional scale, right? You don't want to be a low frequency human, because then you're just asleep at the wheel. You're just buying all the things and getting your lips done, and went to a meeting. I teach school, so we have all these meetings that we have to go to at the end of the school year and over the summer, and the little girls are just, yes, we bought this house in this neighborhood and we now live here. Social status, social status, social status. We've got to wake up. That's the money game. If they can get you trapped into thinking that it really matters what your living circumstance looks like compared to the person next to you, then they've got you in the cycle of buying, right? They've got you in some habit loop. So coming into the Divine Feminine Frequency is the remembrance of the fact that we are so much more than that. That we are divinity. That we are a God spark. That we are a God particle. That we can do the same things and even more than what Jesus Christ himself did while he was incarnated here in the flesh on this planet. He came in to give our consciousness a rise, and he came in to usher in the fact that women and men are in fact equal. We are all a part of the same. We just have different body parts. You know, there's a lot of things about me that are so masculine. You know, the way that I handle money, the way that I like to work on things and do things with my hands. There's so many traits about me that are highly masculine, and then I've got a 6'7" very masculine husband that has some very feminine qualities, very feminine traits. These things are possible all within the same vessel, and we've got to get to the fact, to the point to where we accept that, we appreciate that, and we adore that, not only within ourselves, but also within our partner, within our mate. We were put here to combine together and be in a partnership that accepts each other and balances the other one out. Because let's be real, complete balance all the time, that's just maybe with some of the gurus and some people who don't visit other people very regularly. But for those of us that are still working in the 3D world, true balance is a struggle. It's very difficult, especially if you teach school or if you're around people who are not aware of the fact that they are supposed to be in control of their emotions. Emotional energy waste is what's happening right now. We are giving our energy totally away to other people without even realizing what's going on. And then we're exhausted at the end of the day. We get sick because we've depleted our body of its resources, of its natural ability to heal, because we've been hoodwinked. We've totally been lied to about our precious sunshine, first and foremost. And I couldn't help it. All growing up, my grandmother would send me this stuff about the tanning bed. Stay out of there, to kill you, and get out of the sun, quit laying out. But it felt and feels so good to get that light, that heat, that radiation on all of your back, on all of your nervous system, which runs down that spinal column and straight into your brain, has to be, I knew even as a kid, has to be important, has to be good. It feels too good, too right to be wrong, right? So like I've said, we need the sun, and we need this red light therapy. We have red lights in our bedroom. We cut them on as soon as the sun goes down in the evening, and we keep them on until we go to sleep. There's some people, of course, there's always arguments in both directions. One, that you should sleep in total darkness, and now there's some more studies saying that you should sleep under this red light. The med beds that they have been talking about, this is a part of that healing therapy that's coming online now. So it's not just the med beds. It starts first and foremost with your consciousness, with your ability to accept the fact that things are not the way that we have always thought that they were. We are now coming into the fact that we have been played, and we are in this illusion of sorts that is being guided by people that are not good people. And we've been waking up to this fact for a very long time. I mean, all that they've been doing, they being the powers that run, not necessarily the government, because we now know that there are 33 families, which are the elites, no matter what you want to call them, that lead and guide this world, that lead all governments, ours, Iran's, China's, Russia's, all of them are being orchestrated through and by these 33 families. Now, whether they are reptilian and alien and all of that stuff, you can dive down that rabbit hole and really go deep about the blue blood, right? But no matter what they are and where they come from, they are controlling us and making us worker slaves. Well, we're about to swap over, possibly as soon as this summer, into more of this AI taking over the jobs. So if you are not in service or training to go into some sort of humanitarian type job, something that helps other people deal and cope with the reality of life, or goodness, like I was saying, anything that is ruled through emotion. So these AI non-conscious entities can never truly deal in emotion. because they don't have that capacity. So those are the jobs that won't go away. The others, within the next decade, we're just going to see things change at a crazy rate. So we're going to have to be balanced to realize, so that things don't happen like happened during the Great Depression, like happened at other points in time where things were yanked out from underneath our feet as far as our ability to pay for things, because it's going to have to change. We know this, and those of us who have been getting prepared have separated our money, of course, into, stock and gold and silver and crypto, and learning to grow our own food, and having ways to barter for when and if, because it's always an if factor, this potential becomes reality. So if you are still asleep at the wheel and just buying clothes like crazy and not caring that, it's taken all of this to make these clothes, and there's so many other options, like what's the one that I bought some from? Started back to my local gym membership and needed some Under Armour shorts. So Thread Up, I think was the name of it. Got those for like $15 a pair. They're perfect. They look brand new. But there's no need in continuing to buy brand new clothes when there's so many people that have brand new clothes that never even wore them in the first place, because they are trying to fill a void and become happy through what they put on the avatar on the outside. They're looking for acceptance through their clothing. They're still all wanting to be blonde-headed, blue-eyed little clone, Stepford wives, so that they can look just like each other. Why? But anyway, that's what we're waking up from. And that's what this channel is all about, balancing divine feminine ascension frequencies. So we're being flooded, bombarded with energy from the sun. If you guys have been watching Stefan Burns and his he does the weather, the space weather, and he's always watching the sun and telling us what it's doing to the Schumann resonance, what it's doing to the energy that is on our planet. So it's changing, and our solar system is not stagnant, doesn't stay in one place, it's rising. So everything is rising in frequency, which means it's rising in potential, which means it's changing. It's not staying the same. And our true innate abilities are coming online more and more with the less stress that we are putting on the human vessel. So one of the first stresses is to stay inside and to keep your circadian rhythm off balance. So if you are not awake sometime within that first 2 hours of the sun coming up, that's one of the most important things about your whole entire day and about your health. Alright? So I tell everyone that the very first step is to get in control of the energy first thing in the morning. So as soon as that first thought, as soon as you realize you are still here on this earth playing this game of Shelley, for me, whoever you are, whatever your name is, you want to make sure that that first thought is gratitude. Thank you for this bed that I'm sleeping in. Thank you for this healthy body that I woke up into. Thank you for letting me, my grandmother, oh, thank you, Mama. Thank you for letting me wake up in my right mind this morning. She was so afraid of Alzheimer's. And y'all, we now know that Alzheimer's is just type 3 diabetes. It's sugar. All of this basically breaks down to our body not being able to handle the sugar that we're putting in it, right? So if we can change what we are eating and what we are consuming, Alzheimer's never has to be a threat. And there's a video, I'll put the link in the description. There's a girl that's totally keto for Jesus, which is funny, not funny. It's great. You know, I totally am from Christian background, Christian beliefs system, Southern Baptist, and holiness. But anyway, there was a lady in her early 60s. There's a scale. It's not called the Mohs scale. I know that's a hardness of rocks, but something comparable to that goes up to like 14. And once you are in the 11 to 14 range, you are forgetting how to eat, how to bathe, how to use the bathroom, regular everyday stuff. And she was at that point. Her husband would not give up on it, give up on her. So he went in, and unless I'm mistaken, the main thing that helped bring her back was coconut oil. Of course, they did away with all of the seed oils, and they did away with every sugar and every carb totally. And she's normal now. She came back. They are talking. They're saying coming through the darkness. And I remember when my dad passed. That's what that depression was. I saw it. Physically saw it for the very first time in 2004. I'm lying, that's not true. First time I saw it, I was 12 years old. But I didn't know what it was at that time. So this is a dark entity, a dark energy in the depression, and it's in your shadow, really, because when you're not balanced, you stop the right white light, that's flooding in, that is Christianity, that is hope, that is light, is there. But there's also that left side, which is darkness, and it's there for a reason. It's there to teach us. But if we don't stay within that balance range and we tip, it can become a very hard place to be. And for those of you who haven't already, I've got a book available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, Choose Not to Be Depressed. It's all written off of the Word. It's totally biblical. I wrote my 5 ebooks at a time when I was in my Christian journey big time. It was before I really got into the lost years of Jesus, and realized that he expected us to do miracles just like he did, and the metaphysical side, from him going to Egypt and him going to all the mystery schools, opened up. And that's what the internet does for us. If you've not read the Book of Enoch, which was totally available to everybody back during Jesus' time, I believe, you should. If you've not read the book of Mary Magdalene, go back and read that. She was not a whore. And in fact, that's what 6767, H-O, homium, is relevant for at this point in time. Heaven on earth is what the hoe of Mary Magdalene's energy is bringing back right now. The fact that we are should be united with our beloved, at one with our beloved. That is one of the main things they stole from us. Our ability to be at peace and in health in our own vessel, and then creating peace and health for the family unit. They robbed and removed our sanctuary. They pulled the man out of the house. They made the woman go to work. They put all of these stressors on us about money and made us believe the storyline that that's how it was made to be. I am woman, hear me roar. And I fell into all of that too. But it disrupted everything. And now here we are, learning the truth and putting the pieces back together so that the divine feminine can, once again, not lead, but partner with our masculine, using our love, our complete love for each other, and that sexual energy that we create as a couple to produce, or manifest the things, because thoughts turn to things once you are in charge of the currency, the energy, the current, and you know how to use it, right? I manifested a house for the exact amount of money that I said I would manifest it for. Doesn't look just like my imagination had it looking, but this is so the house that I asked for. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, an indoor-outdoor feature, a basement, a pool, plenty of room for our grown-ish children to live with us, and come and go as they need to, because this economy is not forgiving. And it doesn't have to be, but of course, they are not following my path and listening to create with your mind, blah, blah, blah. They're learning. But I just got a hold of all of this when I went through my dark night of the soul in 2009. And then all things changed over the next decade. I spent 5 years in the Word, studying the Bible back and forth, because I knew that's where the power was. And it is. Your power is in your tongue and in your mind and your ability to have an imagination. Your ability to believe first and then put it into what you see. Don't let what you see around you be what you think is supposed to happen. You put the supposed to in there with you, right? But first and foremost, get a hold of that thought first thing in the bed. And then you do your GCP, ground, cleanse, protect. I'll also put a link, or have one of the girls to put a link in the description on how to do that. But if your life, like a lady came in the shop yesterday going through a divorce, she's in the first stages of divorce, and it gave me an idea to start stabilization kits, relationship recovery kits, and to form a community around people healing from relationships, because that's continual. It doesn't necessarily mean a divorce or a breakup with a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. It can be loss of a loved one. It can be breakup with a friend. It can be the outgrowing of a friend, so that space that belonged to them is now open, and you don't know what to do with it, but you don't just want to cram anybody's energy back into that space that you held so close to your heart. We've got to build new ways of thinking and new relationships, healthy relationships with boundaries, because people thought to be accepted, they had to say yes all the time. That's not true. And in fact, that's what my Drew has taught me. During when we first got together, I had welcomed the divine feminine back into the energy of the planet February 22nd, 2022. I also activated my Kundalini shortly before that. So I was just high vibing, goodness, so full of spiritual energy that I was not grounded. Not at all. And I thought the least little wrong look, argumentative word, somebody's tone could bring me down. You know, I'm a high flyer, right, white, full of light. And white not being the color of my skin, meaning that side of the tree of life, the Sephiroth, if you guys know anything about that. But anyway, he would shoot a hole in my parachute every time. Come right back down. So this relationship has very much been a lot of learning how to not allow other people's frequency to bombard mine. And if you would like to learn that and more things like that, then come back. I've missed you guys. I'm ready to pull this community together and get on here consistently, at least through the summer. So good to see you and much love. Bye.